everybody, welcome back to Project Happy Home. For those of you who are new here, I'm Tanya, a doctor lawyer turned homeschooling mom of 3 kids ages 9, 5, and 4. If you're interested in videos about secular homeschooling, practical minimalism, and mothering a child who is twice exceptional with ADHD and who is gifted, you have come to the right place. In today's video, I'm participating in a collab hosted by my friend Lindsay over at Momma Schmooze Homeschool Reviews about our Momma morning time basket. So I find it really helpful myself to begin my day with a little bit of reading for myself, a little bit of secular devotional time for myself. One of the most helpful things about having that quiet time for myself in the morning is that when my kids wake up, when I have to get going with the day with them, I've already had a moment to gather my thoughts, to reflect on what may lay ahead for the day, what difficulties there might be, what challenges I might face as a mother, what kind of things might arise during the homeschool day. It gives me a chance to really do some self-care for my body and soul. The body part of my morning time routine has not really picked up speed, by the way. I would love to do a little bit of yoga or Pilates in the morning. Unfortunately, I'm a bit of a lazy butt and I stay in bed for longer than I should. And I do wake up early enough, though, to take care of the mind part most mornings. Ideally, I would love to wake up at 5 in the morning. And that way, that would give me a full 2 hours before my children wake up, because my kids are just early birds, whether we have to go anywhere or not. So they generally wake up at around 7. Right now, however, I really realistically get out of bed around 6, which means that gives me about half an hour to spend on my morning basket reading and half an hour to change and get dressed before the kids wake up. More on my morning time goals later, but if I was really doing my job, I would get up at 5, exercise for about half an hour, meditate for a little bit, and then read my morning basket, and then get dressed in a more leisurely fashion. I mean, hashtag goals, right? But right now we're here to talk about our morning time reading, and so I just wanted to share with you some of the books that I have been reading right now. So this adorable little book is one of the most important things in my morning basket. It is an academic planner by Katie Daisy, and she does these beautiful illustrations, as you can see here. It runs from August to August, and it has this cute little pocket flap here if you wanted to keep anything in there, and it has a little, holder band thing. Very technical language here. And then it has beautiful spreads. So you have these beautiful monthly spreads. Here, I'll just put it up really close for you guys to see. And then there's some full page illustrations as well. There's no real quotes or anything, but she has just lovely illustrations, and each of the pages is lovely. Each day has like a small section in it here for you to write in, and I use this exclusively as my gratitude journal. I've been pretty consistent with it. I might miss a day here or there, but I like how small the space is, so it really forces me to just sort of write in it. There's no excuse. It'll only take a couple minutes. I try to do it either the night of or in the morning if I forget. And sometimes it's nicer to do it in the morning. At night I like to hang out with my husband. He likes to turn out the light early, and there's just all these things preventing me from writing at night. But in the morning, it's just me and reflecting and quiet. And it's nice, I find, to wake up and start the day with a gratitude. When you end the day with one, I think it's great as well. But for my personality, it really suits me to wake up and think, what am I grateful for? And it helps me go forward into the day with like a more positive mindset. I have spoken about this before in my favorites videos. I love this little journal. I'll be buying her next one if she has it. It is the perfect size, shape, inspirational illustration style for me to write in. I firmly believe that with journals and planners, you really need to enjoy it. You need to like the tactile feeling of the planner or the journal to use it. Part of the experience is not just the journaling. It is being able to see this beautiful little book and open it and like it and savor it. if I was doing a composition notebook, I don't know that I would be as motivated to continue every single day. So if you can just pick up a cute little book, you know where there's a lot of cute, inexpensive ones is Ross. If you've ever gone to the stationery section at Ross, they have so many beautiful inspirational journals around this size, and they're just $2 or $3, and you can pick one up with an inspirational quote and pretty illustrations inside. So definitely get a little book for yourself, and I really recommend doing a daily gratitude practice. It's very uplifting. Another book that I read almost every morning is this book, The Intellectual Devotional by David S. Kidder and Noah D. Oppenheim. And I love it. It has 365 little daily lessons, and if you look at it, it actually has a little bookmark too, which is helpful. But if you look at it, it is organized by week, and so it'll say like Monday, day 1, Tuesday, day 2, and it doesn't give you specific dates, it gives you specific weeks. So it runs from week 1 to week 52, but you can start it and do it wherever. I don't really stick with the dates at all, but it'll give you different things on every single day, and every single day is just a short spread, so not too much to read. And there's a little additional fact section at the bottom. But so here you have Thomas Jefferson and the Protestant Reformation. You have Paul Cézanne and blood, Chopin and the problem of evil, Renoir and rainbows, Howell and Mary Cassatt. And they switch topics every single day. So you'll have literature, visual arts, science, music, philosophy, religion, history, and then it cycles again, literature, visual arts. And so you have a really nice blend of different topics. I have this one. I also have the one for the American Revolution, which I'll start on next. But this one should carry me through probably 2019 because there are some days that I skip. But I love it. I think it is so great. I actually do a little underlining and everything because that's just the way I do things. So you know, this is a page on cloning, and I like to underline and circle things and take notes, and I don't know. I love learning things. I love being a student. A lot of these things I have learned in the past or I know now, but every page gives me some little factoid that I've never heard of before, which I really love. So another one of my staples in my morning basket is Julie Bogart's A Gracious Space. She has these for the different seasons. So right now I'm reading fall. The way that it's organized is that every day you have a day header, so it marches from day 1 all the way to day 50 in the fall edition, and it goes through, it's designed to be like, I think, read during weekdays. I just sort of march through whenever I read it, but every word of Julie Bogart's writing is so inspirational to me, and so there's so many pages where I basically just underlined everything. And the way it's framed, every selection, every day's reading is about, I would say, 2 to 5 pages, and it has a different topic every single time. So they're written like little essays. And then at the end, there'll be a little quote of the day, usually from another homeschooling mom who's been inspired, and then a little sustaining thought, which is a very short and sweet summary of sort of the main takeaway from that chapter or that day's reading. And I love it. There's so much truth in here. I have so many stars, so much underlining. It's crazy. If I could, I would read the entire thing to you. There's no way of picking something that's more valuable than another. It is all wonderful. But I'll just give you one little blurb. I just opened it to a random section, but it says, "You can't live as though there's no time. That posture squeezes the joy from living and hurries little people who can't be hurried and robs learning of its incubation and saturation stages. Don't take it to heart when things go wrong, when you feel inadequate, when you are misunderstood, when you can't find your way. That's just today, just a moment. It will pass." And then I have to read you this one. Homeschooling is a performance of love between family members over a sustained daily intimate period of years, led by a parent who puts relationship ahead of books. Check in with yourself today, be present to your children, love one another. It's all about love, and love is enough to sustain everything else. I mean, really, you guys, she is the fairy godmother we all wish we had. Another book I've been loving recently is A Year with Rumi. This is a book of poems by Rumi. Rumi was a 14th century Sufi poet and mystic, and I've always loved his poetry. I think I put it into my high school yearbook as my quote. It's like a Rumi quote. So I will just read you a quick poem from this book to give you a flavor for Rumi. But the book is organized as a day book, so you can turn to the day you are on and just read the poem for that day. So this is April 7th poem. This is not a day for asking questions, not a day on any calendar. This day is conscious of itself. This day is a lover, bread and gentleness. It's hard to describe how mystical Rumi's poetry is, but people from every faith went to his funeral. He definitely transcended any one particular religion or faith, and in the way of, I think, mystics from almost any faith arena do. So if you haven't explored Rumi, I definitely recommend him. He's a great way to explore the divine, no matter what your underlying faith background is. Differently Wired is another book in my morning basket. I have been loving this book. It is by Deborah Reber. It's a fairly new book. I think it was released a few months ago, and I love it. It is incredibly honest. It's a very interesting reflection on what it is to parent a neuroatypical child in today's world, particularly with today's resources, what it is to meet the misconceptions of others, and how we can best advocate for our children. The book does a really good job of talking not only about how we can scaffold our children at home, but how we can better serve them by educating the community around us about what neuroatypicalness is and why there's nothing wrong with scaffolding that behavior, and how we do ourselves a disservice by walling ourselves in as a community of just people who are parenting neuroatypical children. Because I think education is really important. I think reaching out to our friends who have typical children, who don't understand some of the struggles that we might go through, some of the struggles our kids might be experiencing, and also don't want to acknowledge some of their incredible gifts. I think this book does a really good job of talking about that awkwardness, about talking about the things that we're not typically allowed to talk about as parents of neuroatypical children. If you are a parent of a neurotypical child, and I have both, I think this is really worth a read as well, because I think she does an amazing job of just opening your eyes to what life looks like, on this side of brain wiring. And I am midway through it. I think it's excellent. She also does a good job of involving all different types of neuroatypicalness into one umbrella, because a lot of the struggles we face are the same. A lot of our kids have overlapping symptoms. It's not so important whatever letters are given to them. Like I've always said, I think we're all on a spectrum, whether we've been given letters or not. I have my own weirdness. I'm sure you do too. I'm sure all your kids do as well. Some of us have been diagnosed with things and some of us have not. But I think the book does a great job of acknowledging that the more we can educate one another, the more we can really build a better future for our kids. So I definitely recommend this book, Deborah Reber, Differently Wired. And I will be doing a review on this if you're interested in that. Let me know in the comments down below. This is a different type of book than that. This is Adopting a Racing Greyhound. I got this for 50 cents from a thrift store because we are considering adopting a racing greyhound. Every single time I see these dogs, I think they are so beautiful and calm and quiet, and just, I love the idea of rescuing a greyhound. I do. And I think they would fit into our family really well, almost as a therapy dog, because my kids are not calm and collected, but they are very kind to animals. They love dogs. And I just think a dog would be a really great addition to our family. So before we do that, though, before we take those steps, I really want to know everything I can about the process. I try to collect information about things before I do it, especially something as big as getting a dog. So if you have a retired racer, or if you have any experience with the adoption process for one, I would love any tips down below. If you know anybody who'd like to talk to me about it, please send me an email at contact@projecthappyhome.com. We're thinking about a timeline of maybe next summer, next fall, because that would be a good age for all the children. My youngest would be almost 5 at that point, a little bit calmer, hopefully, fingers crossed. And so I think the dog would be more comfortable too. But yeah, we're super excited and I'm learning everything I can about it. This is my newest read in my morning basket. This is Food WTF. I hope you guys know what that means, but I'm not going to say it on my channel. So it's called Food WTF Should I Eat? And it is by Dr. Mark Hyman, who is the director of, I can't remember the name of it, but he works at Cleveland Clinic and he's director of sort of like the holistic medicine, like nutritional wellness department there. And I heard Dr. Mark Hyman on a podcast and I was just impressed by him on the podcast. I thought that his breadth of knowledge was really vast. I agreed with a lot of the things he said and I was surprised by some of the others, and so I thought that this would be a good read for me. Contrary to what you might think, doctors are actually taught very little about nutrition in med school, which I think is terrible. I actually was born in Kerala, which is sort of the birthplace in India of Ayurvedic medicine, and so I have a lot of respect for holistic traditions and holistic medicine and food to heal the body, etc. I also think that can really be abused in modern day society. I think there's lots of charlatans and quacks out there who would love you to follow one diet or another. But I do want to learn more about it. I want to learn more than what I know, basically. And I'm excited to work my way through this book. The book is organized in different parts, and basically he'll go through a certain section where he talks about different food groups and misconceptions that people have about what is healthy and what is not healthy. And then he sort of analyzes, depending on what type of person you are, what type of lifestyle you are, what types of diets, and when I say diet, I don't mean to lose weight, I mean like what you're eating, what types of food consumption, what groups of food, what classes of food would be best suited to you given your lifestyle, ethnicity, age, etc., and goals, honestly. So I am interested in this. I feed my children really well, I think. I don't feed myself as well. I don't eat that much unhealthy food because I simply don't buy that much unhealthy food. But by the same token, I don't eat as much healthy food as my kids. Like, I try to make sure my kids have a rainbow of food, so they have lots of different fruits and vegetables, etc. I don't do as good of a job of that myself. I've recently started a subscription with Daily Harvest for smoothies, and I took out my Vitamix, which I had not used for the 3 years that I owned it. And I've started to use that, but you guys, I don't like smoothies. I don't. I wish I liked smoothies, but I don't. And I kind of have to force myself to drink the smoothies. And the Daily Harvest smoothies are actually quite good, but I don't like smoothies. I like food. I like chewing. I like crunch. So I am exploring different options to make healthy eating for me just more streamlined. And this book is a good start for that. So if you want a review on this book later, let me know in the comments down below as well. So that's basically what I'm reading in the morning, you guys. I'm considering starting a series of videos reviewing some of the books that I'm reading. If you are interested in videos like that, let me know in the comments down below, and let me know how you would find them to be the most helpful. Do you like your book reviews to be very long and complete, like spoilers, like I read this so you don't have to? Or would you like your book reviews to be short and sweet and like, this is why you should read this book, it's amazing, go buy it now, or this is why you should definitely not read this book, don't buy this book. So basically, do you want the short and sweet version, or do you want an actual comprehensive kind of like, look, I read this and I'm going to save you time, I'm going to give you the main pointers kind of thing? Let me know in the comments down below. Thank you, Lindsay, for starting this collab. I really hope it becomes a regular sort of thing. And don't forget to check out the playlist so you can see all the other moms and what they've been reading in the mornings. As always, you guys, I wish you the very best day. Thanks so much for watching.